Hello, this is your coach, Chad Hymas, coming to you with a very dear to my heart message, something that I don't share very often with people. Very seldom have I shared it in a public setting. I have written about it in my book, and I've blogged about it once or twice. But because of the sacredness of it and the topic, I just haven't shared a whole lot, and maybe it's something that I should change. I'm going to share it with all of you. When it comes to making decisions and having an influence on other people's lives, being a true leader, what is it that gives us credibility to help influence other people's decisions, including the decisions that we make ourselves? I don't necessarily believe that it has to do with our belief system all the time, or perhaps the influence of others while they do affect our decisions. I think a lot of it has to do with the deposits that we make in other people's lives that then give us credibility to make better decisions in the future. Let me see if I can explain to you what I mean. When I first woke up from a coma in the hospital, my dad was not about to let somebody else dictate the decisions that I would make based on science or what other people had done with my level of disability. When I first woke up, he wanted to be the one to give me some news, not fake news, not false hope, but he wanted to give me the opportunity to make some choices and some decisions. Now, in order for him to be in that place of potential to help me make those decisions, he had to build up, I'll call them deposits or credits. In other words, it takes time to build up that credibility in order to require or ask something of me in order to trust him so I can make a better decision. Over the course of my whole life, my dad has not only been one of my closest advocates and one of my greatest confidants, but he's also been one that has always said and done what he said he's going to do, and said things that have carried credibility and resonated with me. He's built up these deposits into my mind and in my life that have allowed me to trust him without question whatsoever. That doesn't mean we always agree, and it doesn't mean that I have to do what he says that he's going to ask me to do, but it does mean that he does deserve respect, and he has my attention when he talks. So when he came to me with this call to action after giving me my prognosis, and that was that I would never be able to use my hands or my legs again, which is true, he required me or asked me to do the following: to be a better husband with no hands, no legs, a father, a coach, a steward, a contributor to my church and my family and my society. And he also asked me to be a better disciple, whatever that means to you. Now, that's a heavy requirement coming from somebody that is not in that circumstance. It would be easily pawned off by saying you have no credibility whatsoever, but the credibility wasn't the fact that he had to be paralyzed himself. The credibility was the fact that he had built up enough deposits over the years and created that friendship that when he talked, he had my ears and I listened. Now, it didn't mean that I liked it, or it didn't mean that I was going to do what he asked, but he was able to impact and influence my decisions. Let's cut to the chase. Here we are 21 years after that conversation took place, and he did ask me, he withdrew from those deposits. He asked me to do some things that were tough, and I didn't buy in at first. I didn't like it, nor was I willing to do it. Likewise, I think in the workplace, if we're going to ask for withdrawals from people, and I'm not talking about money, but if we're going to ask or ask them to do certain tasks, it takes a certain deposit in their lives from us to get that withdrawal to help their decisions and help them to be impacted by our influence. Here we are 21 years later. I don't always still agree with my father, but I am coming to you from an office. I am able to work. I am contributing, I think, to my society. I'm doing the best that I can to do that. I am trying to be a better husband and a better father, although I don't have it perfected, either one of those. I have the friendship of my two older boys, my daughter and my youngest son, Caleb, who happens to be in charge of filming today, and he's sitting right here with me. He's involved in my life, he's involved in my business, and he and I have a special bond. That's building deposits right there. And he also deposits a lot into my life. He sits by me, he spends time with me, he's building deposits. It's all about being visible in other people's lives. And I'm asking you if you have that ability. It will affect other people's decisions. We could talk about suicidal thoughts. We could talk about depression. When people know that they're looking up to you, when people know that you have an impact on their lives, they then look to you as somebody that looks up to them, and it affects their decision making in the process. So it's not a 1, 2, 3 punch. There's no special curriculum for decision making, but I do think that when you build deposits in people's lives, it helps them to make better decisions as they're faced with challenges, unforeseen circumstances. Helps them to, when you call them and want to withdraw, when you put enough deposits in, that you're able to withdraw that from them and do it with credibility. Chad Hymas coming to you this week here in beautiful fall weather out west, asking you all to continue to make deposits in other people's lives.